My name is Siyue, and today I will be talking about a topic that's becoming increasingly important in the world of AI, data scraping and its impact on AI training. Specifically, I will focus on Applebot, Apple's web crawler, and the controversy surrounding how it collects data. AI is advancing at an incredible pace, and companies like Apple, Google, and OpenAI need huge amounts of data to train their models. But here's the big question: where does all that data come from? The answer is simple: the internet. AI models learn by analyzing text, images, and videos from websites, news platforms, and even social media. This is where Applebot comes in. So, let's start by understanding why this matters in the first place. AI models don't just develop intelligence on their own. They need massive amounts of data to learn and improve. To collect this data, companies like Apple, Google use web crawlers to scan the information from websites. However, this practice has led to serious debates about privacy and ownership. Many websites are worried that their content is being used without permission, and some have even started block this web crawler to protect their data. This issue has created a major conflict. On one side, AI companies argue that web scraping is necessary for innovation. They say that AI model needs as much data as possible to be accurate and useful. On the other side, content creators believe they should have control over how their data is used, and if AI companies want to train on their work, they should pay for it. So, what exactly are we going to cover today? First, we will take a closer look at Applebot and how it works. Second, we will discuss why Applebot has become controversial. Third, we will explore the impact of blocking Applebot. Fourth, we will look at how Apple is responding. Finally, we will discuss what the future of AI regulation and ethical data collection might look like. Now that we understand the importance of this issue, let's talk about Applebot itself. To understand the controversy surrounding Applebot, we first need to understand what it is and what it does. Applebot is Apple's official web crawler, similar to Googlebot. Its primary function is to scan and index websites, allowing Apple to provide better search results in Siri, Spotlight, and Safari. When you ask Siri a question or search in Safari, Applebot helps pull the most relevant web pages to answer your query. But Applebot isn't just a search tool. It also plays a role in AI training. AI models like those used in chatbots, language processing, and recommendation systems need large amounts of high-quality data to improve their accuracy. Web crawlers like Applebot provide that data by collecting publicly available content from across the internet. Two versions of Applebot. This version is responsible for indexing web pages so that Apple users can find relevant search results. It behaves similar to Googlebot, means it only accesses public web pages and doesn't scrap anything behind a login page. Its primary job is to enhance Apple's search experience, but it doesn't focus on AI training. 2. Applebot Extended Version. This version allows Apple to use website data to train AI models rather than just improving search results. Apple introduced this feature in response to concern over AI scraping, giving website owners some control over how their data is used. If a website doesn't want its content to be used for AI training, it can opt out by blocking Applebot Extended. So, how Applebot operates? Applebot works by scanning and downloading public available web pages, following links to discover new content. This process is called crawling. Once Applebot collects data, it's processed and organized it for different Apple surveys, including 1. Siri suggestion, 2. Spotlight search, 3. Safari search, 4. AI model training. So why does Apple need Applebot? Applebot is essential to Apple's ecosystem for three main reasons. 1. Improving search results. Applebot allows Apple to compete with Google by providing better search experience within Siri and Safari. 2. Enhancing AI features. By collecting web data, Applebot helps train language models and AI-powered services such as text summarization, auto-suggestion, and intelligent search predictions. 3. Reducing dependence on Google. Apple currently relies on Google search for many queries, but Applebot allows it to gradually build its own AI-powered search and knowledge base. So how Applebot collects data? Applebot gathers several types of data from website. HTML page content, which includes text and other visible elements. Site maps, which provides structural information about how a website is organized. JavaScript and AJAX requests, which help dynamic pages load extra content. And images, CSS files, and metadata, which contribute to formatting and visible structure. Applebot follows links across the internet, discovering new pages and updating Apple's index. Although Apple provides transparency on how to detect Applebot's activity, the bigger issue is what happens to the data Applebot collects. There are three major reasons why Applebot has become controversial. 1. Data privacy concern. Many websites fear that Apple is collecting user-generated content without asking for permission. Even though the data is public, it was never meant to train AI models. 2. Intellectual property issues. Media companies argue that Apple is using their copyrighted news article, research, and creative content without compensating them. 3. AI competition. Apple is trying to catch up with OpenAI and Google, but some companies believe its data scraping giving it an unfair advantage. In response, major websites like the New York Times and Meta have blocked Applebot to prevent their data from being used. Now let's see what happens when companies block Applebot. The impact of blocking Applebot. There are three impacts. One is less data for AI models. AI models rely on large datasets to improve accuracy. Blocking Applebot reduces Apple's ability to train its AI, leading to weaker performance. 2. Competitive disadvantage. Google and OpenAI have years of scraped data, while Apple started late. Blocking Applebot could slow Apple's progress in AI. 3. Increased bias in AI. If Apple's AI models are trained on smaller, less diverse datasets, it could result in biased and inaccurate response. This is why Apple needs to find ways to continue accessing data. So, how websites restrict Applebot? Websites can block or limit Applebot's accessing use the robot.txt file like this. And Applebot extended opt-out allows sites to stay indexed in Apple's search will opt out for AI training. Even with these options, many companies believe Apple should require permission before scraping data. So, to address this concern, Apple is exploring several strategies. First, purchasing licensed data. Instead of scraping content, Apple could form partnership without publishers. Second, relying more on device AI training. This means training AI direct on user's device instead of using online data. Third, improve transparency. Apple could make its web crawling process more open and user-friendly. Fourth, ensuring compliance with privacy laws. Apple needs to follow regulations like GDPR and CCPA to avoid legal trouble. But these are not just short-term issues. They have huge implications for the future of AI. Now that we have explored how Applebot work, why it's controversial, and how Apple is responding, it's important to think about bigger picture. What this means for the future of AI, data collection, and privacy regulation. AI is developing at an unprecedented pace, and its ability to learn depends heavily on the availability of high-quality data. But as we can see with Applebot, the way companies collect the data is now being questioned. Moving forward, there are several key factors that will determine how AI models are trained and whether companies like Apple can continue use web scraping as a data collection method. So let's talk about the future of AI data collection. First, AI companies will likely face stricter data regulation. Governments around the world are already introducing privacy laws aimed at protecting individuals and business from uncontrolled data scraping. In Europe, the GDPR, that is General Data Protection Regulations, has made it illegal for companies to collect and process user data without clear consent. In California, the CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act, give users the right to demand that companies delete their personal data and stop selling it to third parties. Other countries, including Canada, Brazil, and China, are also tightening data privacy regulations, which could make it harder for AI companies to scrap the web freely. If these laws expand, Applebot and other web crawlers may need explicit permission from website owners before collecting data, rather than assuming public information is fair game. This would fundamentally change how AI models are trained. Second, AI companies may have to rely more on licensed data. Instead of scraping web pages, companies like Apple might strike deals with content providers to legally use their data. Google has already signed multi-million-dollar agreement with news publishers to use their articles for AI trainings. OpenAI has begun licensed books and academic research instead of just scraping free content from the internet. Apple may follow a similar pace, purchasing high-quality datasets rather than depending on Applebot. The shift toward licensed data could improve AI quality, but it also means AI development will become more expensive and controlled by large corporations that can afford buy data. Third, AI models may shift toward user-generated data and on-device learning. Instead of relying on the open web, AI may train more on user-generated data from personal devices. Apple has already introduced on-device AI training, where machine learning models learn from a user's own activity instead of pulling external data. Private AI models could train on email patterns, text messages, and Apple usage, making AI more personal without need to scrap the internet. This approach aligns with Apple's commitments to privacy but raised a new question about whether users are comfortable sharing their personal data, even if it stays on their device. On device learning could make AI smarter and more privacy friendly, but it also means AI knowledge will be more limited to what's on a user's device rather than vast internet knowledge. So, beyond just the data collection method, there's a bigger question of ethics and fairness in AI training. Who owns the data in the internet? If a journalist writes an article, should AI companies compensate them for using their work? The future of AI will be shaped by how these ethical and legal questions are answered. So, in conclusion, Applebot is a powerful tool for Apple's AI develop, but its data collection method have sparked controversy. Website owners, journalists, and content creators want more control over how their data is used, while AI companies argue that web scraping is necessary for progress. With more companies blocking web crawler, AI development will either need new data collection methods or shift toward license agreement and on-device learning. Also, AI continues to evolve. The biggest challenge will be finding a balance between innovation and ethical data use. Companies like OpenAI, and Apple must navigate privacy laws, public concern, and AI competition while continue to build more advanced and responsible for AI systems. The decision made today will shape the future of AI and how data is used worldwide.